This week in Jamaica Now. Manchester mayhem, a deadly attack over egg prices ended with the police and a man in a 4-hour siege. The rural school buses have hit the road. Dr. Andrew Holness to be sworn in on September 16 as Prime Minister. And the World Athletics Championships is underway in Tokyo, Japan. I'm Jovan Johnson and this is Jamaica Now. A 54-year-old man with a history of criminal involvement was shot dead on Tuesday following a dramatic 4-hour standoff with police in Mandeville, Manchester. He has been identified as Dave Alfrancis Wilson, otherwise called Brown Man, of Caledonia Road in the parish. The police say the confrontation had its roots in a dispute earlier in the day between Mr. Wilson and 31-year-old accountant Adrian Bernard of Buena Vista Circle in Manchester. The argument was reportedly over the sale of eggs, with claims that the disagreement involved as little as $200. According to investigators, Mr. Wilson left the scene of the quarrel and returned armed with a rifle. He allegedly opened fire on Mr. Bernard, who was sitting in his car. Mr. Bernard was hit in the chest and leg and later pronounced dead at hospital. Mr. Wilson then fled in a blue Honda Accord motor car, but the police quickly launched an investigation that led them to premises on Caledonia Road. Now, officers came under heavy gunfire, triggering a fierce exchange that brought sections of Mandeville to a standstill as residents looked on. After more than 4 hours, the gunfire subsided and the police entered the premises where Mr. Wilson was found suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital and pronounced dead. The police say they recovered a significant cache of weapons at the location, including an Omni hybrid multi-caliber rifle with 28 rounds of 5.56 ammunition, a Petro Beretta 9mm pistol with an affixed magazine containing 17 rounds, and an additional 745 assorted rounds. The Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau of the JCF and the Independent Commission of Investigations have both launched probes into the encounter. Some 60 buses were deployed on Monday in the rollout of the government's $1.4 billion National Rural School Bus Program. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz, joined by Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon and Finance Minister Favour Williams, oversaw the launch at the Halfway Tree Transport Centre in St Andrew. The Transport Ministry says over 200 schools are set to benefit, with more to be added as additional buses become operational. Concerns have been raised about the age of the buses and their ability to handle rural terrain. However, officials say several tests were conducted before schools reopened. Minister Vaz noted that monitoring would continue throughout the week with a full review on Friday and adjustments made if necessary by Monday. The government purchased 110 used buses from the United States, including parts for repairs and retrofitting. And Transport Minister Vaz revealed that one of the drivers in the rural school bus program was recorded with 14 speeding violations during Monday's rollout. In a post on X, Minister Vaz described the breaches as unacceptable and said action has been taken by the authorities. He explained that the violations were detected through the monitoring technology installed on the buses. Social media erupted in debate this week over the St Andrew High School for Girls' decision to ban students from wearing edges hairstyle, sparking fresh discussion about school rules, discipline and students' right to education. The online reactions came amid wider concerns about grooming and dress code enforcement in Jamaican schools. However, St Andrew High has clarified that no student was locked out of classes in relation to the hairstyle issue. The institution is regarded as one of Jamaica's top-performing high schools. At the same time, the Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network is pressing the Ministry of Education to impose stricter limits on how schools discipline students for uniform breaches. The group said that the current policy framework is inadequate and continues to result in disproportionate penalties. It has urged administrators to adopt child rights-based, student-centered approaches. Now, the Education Minister, Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, said there will be some developments in the policy later this year. Dr. Andrew Holness is to be sworn in next week Tuesday for his third consecutive term as Prime Minister of Jamaica. King's House made the announcement following a formal meeting on Wednesday between Mr. Holness and Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen. It followed the September 3 general election in which the Jamaica Labour Party secured victory, winning 35 of the 63 seats in the House of Representatives. The opposition People's National Party won the remaining 28. The swearing-in ceremony is scheduled for 4 p.m. on the ceremonial lawn at King's House. It will be Dr. Holness's fourth overall swearing-in as Prime Minister. He first assumed the role in 2011 after the resignation of Bruce Golding and was re-elected in 2016 and again in 2020. Meanwhile, People's National Party President Mark Golding says the party will not be seeking magisterial recounts in any constituency following its defeat in the September 3 general election. Speaking at a news conference on Thursday, Mr. Golding said legal advice from PNP attorneys confirmed that recounts were unlikely to alter the outcome of any seat. Mr. Golding, however, signalled possible legal action in St. Andrew West Central, won by the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness.
Having waited for the final count to establish the official results in each constituency, including ascertaining the number of spoiled or rejected ballots and how these were apportioned between the two parties, the advice that we have received from our lawyers who attended the final counts is that a magisterial recount is unlikely to change the outcome in any of the seats. In the case of West Central St. Andrew, however, the nature of the irregularities which took place there is being carefully scrutinized in anticipation of a case being brought to the constituted authority for appropriate relief. I won't be able to answer more questions on that today. That matter is with our lawyers.
Mr. Golding also expressed concern about what he described as the vulgar use of state resources and reports of widespread suppression of PNP votes in marginal constituencies. Mr. Golding also said there should be an independent inquiry into the conduct of the elections by the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. He cited the long wait times for votes among the issues to be studied. And the PNP president said he will not step aside following the party's election defeat, insisting he will continue to lead as long as members maintain confidence in him.
I serve at the pleasure of the party, and I'm happy to continue to serve in the capacity as leader for as long as the party wants me to. And thus far, all of the MPs who have been elected, all 28, other than one who's overseas traveling, have signed a letter confirming that they have confidence in me and want me to be the leader of the opposition. Right. And that's where it is right now.
If I may add again, if I may just add something to that. I want for us not to mislead the public with some of the statements. There are some things that are being said in the public space that are just not true. Andrew Holness was defeated by Portia Simpson Miller in 2011. It seems persons have forgotten that. He did not resign, nor did he offer any resignation. He stayed there. He did not even make public the appraisal committee report that was done. Right? 10 of the 21 MPs signed a no confidence in him. He's the one that saved himself with his casting vote.
And the ruling Jamaica Labour Party held a news conference hours after dismissing the PNP's concerns. The party accused the PNP of political mischief-making over its announcement that it will consider filing a case with the constituted authority over the results from the Prime Minister-designate's constituency. The constituted authority has the power to recommend the voiding of an election where malpractice is found. JLP spokesperson Kamina Johnson-Smith said no irregularities were reported to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica.
They, however, have decided that in a seat where the victory was proclaimed with a margin of 2,110 votes, that is the seat of St. Andrew West Central, the seat in which the Most Honourable Andrew Holness was a successful candidate, that they're contemplating a constitutional motion in respect of that result. They spoke of irregularities, but gave no details of their allegations. They're broadly referencing social media again. And it's difficult to say anything other than that the party finds the position taken by the PNP in respect of St. Andrew West Central to be baseless, to be frivolous, to be yet another indicator of a sense of desperation and an unwillingness to face the results and enter into introspection.
EOJ data shows that Dr. Holness won the St. Andrew West Central seat, polling 7,054 to the 4,953 received by the PNP's Paul Buchanan.
The margin of 2,110 votes is similar to the margin that has been reflected in this seat consistently since 2002. And in fact, in particular, In respect of the Seaward primary polling stations, which were the last ones to come in, I think everyone remembers the nail-biting moments where the television stations had the Prime Minister as trailing, I believe was the language used, because those winning boxes were not in. And they're not winning boxes this election. Every election, the electors who vote in Seaward primary polling stations vote overwhelmingly in support of their preferred candidate, Andrew Michael Holness. And the PNP in those polling stations generally doesn't even get 100 votes. It's not unusual.
Now, Executive Director of rights group Jamaicans for Justice, Michael Jackson, has also criticized the PNP. She said, quote, "There is something fundamentally wrong with the party hosting a press conference to articulate hearsay claims," end quote. In a social media post, she added that the PNP should give credible evidence to the appropriate authorities for investigation rather than to insinuate that the other party did something illegal. Mayor of Spanish Town Norman Scott has been charged with assault and malicious destruction of property arising from an incident involving a woman on election day. The woman is a worker of the Jamaica Labour Party. The incident occurred in St. Elizabeth Southeastern, where Mr. Scott was the PNP's candidate. According to reports from the Black River Police, the incident unfolded around midday when Mr. Scott, who was visiting the polling station, remained longer than the allotted time. An agent attempted to advise him that his time inside the facility had expired, but this led to a commotion. Another agent intervened to calm the situation. However, the police alleged that Mr. Scott struck the agent in the face before members of his security detail escorted him from the location. Following the altercation, a formal report was made to the police and an investigation launched. Mr. Scott has since been charged with assault occasioning actual bodily harm and malicious destruction of property. The police say summons were formally served on the mayor on Friday. He is scheduled to appear in the St. Elizabeth Parish Court on October 13. The Supreme Court has granted an interim injunction blocking Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake from removing Senior Superintendent Wayne Cameron as chairman of the Police Officers Association, POA. The order made by Justice Natalie Hart-Hines during a hearing on Wednesday came with a penal notice warning Dr. Blake and his subordinates that non-compliance could lead to imprisonment or asset seizure. The injunction will remain in place until October 8, when both sides are set to appear before the court. At that time, SSP Cameron's application for leave to seek judicial review of Dr. Blake's decision will also be heard. SSP Cameron is claiming that the Commissioner does not have the power to remove the chairman of the Police Officers Association, whose members range from assistant superintendents to deputy commissioners of police. The ruling is the latest twist in a public spat between the police commissioner and Mr. Cameron. On Monday, the High Command announced that Mr. Cameron was barred from representing the association, citing alleged indiscipline and misconduct. The details of those allegations were not disclosed. This is the latest incident involving the Police High Command and unions representing members of the force in 2 years. In 2023, the Police High Command, led by then-Commissioner Anthony Anderson, brought disciplinary action against the then-head of the Jamaica Police Federation, Corporal Rowan James, over statements which were critical of the JCF's leadership. He is suing over the matter. The 2025 World Athletics Championship started on September 13 at the Japan National Stadium in Tokyo, with several Jamaicans due to participate on day one. First up was four-time national discus champion Samantha Hall, ranked 18th in the world. Hall was scheduled to contest Group B of the women's discus qualification. She's aiming to build on her best ever form after throwing a personal best 64.97 meters earlier this season. Closing the morning session, Jamaica's mixed 4x400-meter relay team was due to run in Heat 1, facing defending champions and world record holders the United States, along with Great Britain and Italy. Long jumper Akeelia Smith was due to enter Group A of the women's long jump qualification. Miss Smith, ranked 4th globally with a lifetime best of 7.08 meters, will need to rise above her season's best of 6.74 meters to reach the final. Jamaica's sprinting stars were also due to hit the track. Their national 100-meter women's champion Tina Clayton, Sharika Jackson and 5-time world champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. Kishane Thompson, Oblique Seville and Akeem Blake are down for the men's 100-meter heats later in the session. Here are some of the scenes from Tokyo, including from my colleagues Gregory Bryce and Gladstone Taylor, who are leading the Gleaners coverage. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner, and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on notifications, and subscribe today. I'm Jovan Johnson.